In this video, I'm gonna go over what would be the worst possible year for Nintendo. What if 2022 from this point on was just awful? Quite literally as bad as it could be for our favorite gaming company. What would have to happen, and what in this worst possible year do I think is actually realistic? Spoiler alert, it's a bit more than you might think. Also, at the end of the video, I let you guys know what in my opinion would be the best case scenario for this year, because I didn't want to leave you guys on a bad note. What would have to happen for this to be the worst year possible? First, let's start with Nintendo's big man, the cash cow, Mario. Mario plus Rabbids 2, Sparks of Hope, is the only Mario game we know of, and if it's worst case scenario, that's the only Mario game we're gonna get. And it's not even a Nintendo game really, I mean it's developed by Ubisoft. So all us Mario fans who really aren't into the RPGs but are into, you know, the actual platforming that comes with that, guess we gotta wait till 2023. However, speaking of Mario, just because he doesn't get another game doesn't mean it can't get worse. Oh, it can get so much worse. The Mario movie by Illumination Entertainment is a soulless cash grab that Illuminations is just known for. With a by-the-books generic story, crappy dance numbers featuring pop songs that just have nothing to do with Mario, terribly bland voice performances by Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Jack Black, the Mario movie will absolutely suck. Just will not be good. Moving on to one of Nintendo's other biggest franchises, Splatoon. Splatoon 3 is coming out this year, and I'm gonna be honest, from the trailers, it already looks really good. It's kind of hard to make this a bad game or a bad thing to happen for Nintendo, but I think I found a way. What if Splatoon 3 just does not have a new gimmick? I think everyone either expects this game to have a massive single-player game unlike the ones we've gotten in Splatoon 1 and 2, or some brand new online multiplayer mode, whether it's a battle royale or something like that. Given that Splatoon 2 is also on the same console, and Splatoon 2 was a phenomenal game that also got like 2.5 full years of extra content, Splatoon 3 has to have a new gimmick in order to set it apart from Splatoon 2, because like there's no reason to have Splatoon 3 if it's just going to be the same as Splatoon 2. Well, in this universe, it doesn't have that new gimmick. Splatoon 3 will be a sequel to Splatoon 2 in the same way that FIFA 2022 is a sequel to FIFA 21. Maybe Splatoon 3 has, you know, a couple new weapon types, some slight rebalancing changes, like slightly different maps, but that's it. Nothing else unique, nothing that helps it stand apart. Moving right into Nintendo's other biggest franchise, we have Pokemon. Now, Pokemon Legends Arceus has already come out and people are saying it's really good. I haven't had time to play it yet, but PJ is really enjoying it so far. Unfortunately, it does not get any updates. No free updates, no paid DLC, nothing. On top of that, the Pokemon company tells Game Freak that no, you actually made a good game this time, you're not supposed to do that. So Game Freak gets to work on this year's holiday Pokemon games, Pokemon Let's Go Johto. We get 2 brand new games in the critically acclaimed Pokemon Let's Go franchise. Aren't you guys just so excited to go from an actual step forward to, you know, all the way back? And of course, even though we've never gotten Johto without a remake of Kanto, Game Freak's not doing that. This will be the worst version of Johto we've ever got. Kicking it back to Nintendo for a sec, let's take a look at a couple of games they put out. Yeah, okay, so obviously Nintendo is going to put out some games, but still reeling from the effects of the pandemic, most of their big titles were pushed back. That leaves them with a couple of ports. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD gets ported over. Oh, and Twilight Princess 2. But wait, those are 2 separate games. Don't worry though, it's not like they're gonna sell them at, yep, they're selling them at full price. Honestly, out of all the things that could happen on this list, this is the one that I actually think will. Nintendo porting both of these games over on their own at full price, yeah, it seems like it's gonna happen more than, you know, oh, in this worst case scenario. But that's okay, because they got a brand new other port of Star Fox Zero? Nintendo, what are you doing? That's okay though, this next one, it's so hypothetical that like Nintendo would never do it. Nintendo suddenly decides to strike a bunch of YouTubers uploading game soundtracks, so you can no longer listen to the video game soundtracks that they make, even though they don't have any way to officially sell them, so it's not like they're losing revenue. Oh, they did that already. It's January's not over. How interesting. Alright, I'll give it up. Now let's move to the game you've been thinking about. Breath of the Wild 2. I'm gonna be honest, I thought about this one for a while. How could they possibly mess up Breath of the Wild 2? I mean, the game looks amazing, and even if it doesn't innovate too much, it's already based on one of the best games of all time. So even if it's not everything we want as a sequel, it's still going to be a phenomenal game. So how could they mess it up? Well, the original Breath of the Wild was known for one thing, and one thing only before it released, and that was the fact that it had a ruthless amount of delays. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild got delayed so many times. And considering Breath of the Wild 2 is only, quote, scheduled for release in 2020 instead of releasing in 2020, like, I don't know, Splatoon, Kirby, and the other games we know of, Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be such a fire game that in order for Nintendo to have a, quote, bad 2022, it's got to be pushed back. Speaking of pushed back, Metroid Prime 4, I don't even know, let's just say it was canceled. I mean, it's been 5 years since we learned of it, 3 years since they re-scrapped development, and we've still gotten no footage of the game at all. We don't even have a teaser trailer, not even a cinematic, so yeah, let's just say that thing was canceled. Next, Nintendo announces a brand new console, but it's not at all related to the Switch. Yeah, you know the Switch, the thing this entire channel is based off of, and the thing that, you know, propelled Nintendo back into the spotlight after a terrible performance with the Wii U? Yeah, Nintendo is just going to completely ignore this groundbreaking mechanic that even companies like Steam are trying to emulate. We can say goodbye to all that hybrid plug-and-play action that we've loved so much. No more Switch docks, no more anything. They're going back to making a brand new handheld and home console. They are not the same, and we are all the worse because of it. Besides that, Nintendo decides to focus more of their efforts on mobile game development, because why not? And with no more added updates to Nintendo Switch Online, so, you know, we're not getting that Game Boy or GameCube Online we all wanted, that caps off Nintendo's worst 2022. I tried to make this at least somewhat realistic, because of course, I guess technically their worst 2022 would be in 3 days, like, they go bankrupt somehow or something, or somehow we find out like they've been committing tax fraud, they get like audited or something, and like just everything goes and burns. So this is the worst case scenario that is actually possible in my opinion. However, I don't want to end this video off on a bummer, so really quickly let me talk about the best case scenario for Nintendo. Kirby and the Forgotten Land comes out and is amazing. It's a complete refresh of the Kirby franchise, and it brings the series into 3D in a way that has never really been done before. We get a brand new 2D Donkey Kong game announced, and it looks amazing. Donkey Kong is back and finally in the spotlight. We have a brand new 3D Mario announced towards the end of the year. The next mainline Mario Kart game gets announced towards the end of the year to release in 2023. Splatoon 3 has a massive single-player campaign, a bunch of new online modes including free-for-all, and more kill-based modes like Kill Confirm or Gun Game and stuff like that. Breath of the Wild 2 comes out and is utterly phenomenal. It fixes all of the very minor issues with the last game while innovating so much. The Metroid Prime Trilogy HD collection releases towards the end of the year, with Prime 4 imminent, probably early 2023. Honestly, in my opinion, the best year for Pokemon involves Pokemon, well, taking a break. Game Freak and Ilka just put out 2 big Pokemon games. In order for them to have a game for this holiday, it would have to be rushed, not as ambitious, and just overall a worse experience. Take a couple years and come back with either a brand new generation or a new and improved Legends game from a different region. Last but not least, Nintendo increases the value of Nintendo Switch Online by adding in a bunch of new consoles, including GameCube, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, and DS titles. That right there would be the best possible year. Alright, that was fun, but we have something else even more important to talk about. The Nintendo Switch 2 could change everything, and there are a bunch of rumors saying it will come out this year. I didn't talk about it at all really in this video, and that's because we made a whole nother video on it on our other channel. Click the screen right now to watch it.